So that brings us up to Cleveland. So we have, I should probably loop a few of these. Let's loop this first two together on Donovan Mitchell. Ippo Uji Flirk asked, when did you realize that Donovan Mitchell is the greatest Cavalier of all time? And Stupid Jerk asked, can we get a heat check on the Donovan Mitchell, on whether Donovan Mitchell can or can't be the best player on a championship contender take? So what's interesting about that is I don't know where either of us landed on whether we thought he could be the best player on a contender leading into the season. I do think we both thought Darius Garland was going to be the Cavs' best player this year, and that long term it would be Evan Mobley. I started to recalibrate a little bit on how obviously Donovan Mitchell's been better than Darius Garland at this point, and he is the best player for what I was listening to the Chase Down podcast in reaction to his 71-point game, and Justin Rowan, friend of the podcast, excellent at what he does, said that he didn't really classify the Cavs as like one of those foremost contenders. I might be there for them. And Donovan Mitchell's already their best player. If he can't be, maybe he can't be the best player on a universal contender, but the way that the Cavs are built, he can absolutely be the best player on this version of a title team. He's shooting lights out on off the dribble threes. It'd be nice if they played a little bit faster at points, not just in transition, but in the half court. But he's so good at playing off of others as well. And numerous people have said this, and I didn't watch in real time. I took the night off because it was my birthday and I'm vain as fuck. But going back and watching, like, there was nothing inorganic about the 71 points, basically. Like, he had, what do you have, 10 assists, 11 assists? And
11.
they very much needed, Garland wasn't playing, Mobley wasn't playing, so they needed him to have that role. But he is so much more adaptable than I think people gave him credit for, in large part because Utah, they had like these tertiary guys, but they were always either like too middle rung or towards the tail end of their primes. And Mike Conley, or like I said, a Joe Ingles or a Bojan Bogdanovic, like they're ball handling specialists or secondary options more than they are another primary. So his adaptability is really shining through here. And yes, it helps that he gives a damn on defense again. So I don't know where I landed on the take leading in. I'll probably say that I didn't think he could be the best player on a contender, but I thought he made the Cavs a contender. I will update my take to say I believe the Cavs are a real threat to come out of the East now, and lo and behold, Donovan Mitchell is their best player.
Yeah, I think when we talked about him shortly after the trade, I know that I thought that this is a good trade, but the version of the Cavs that wins a title has Evan Mobley as their best player. And as I'm trending up on Mitchell as like, yeah, because of what you said, if your other like secondary players have been all-stars and could be all-stars again and are young and are going to develop, like that, maybe that gets you away from, we got to have a top 5, top 10 guy. If Donovan Mitchell's like the 12th best player in the league, that's maybe enough, provided that the Cavs do figure out the small forward spot and just get a big wing that can guard and make threes. Like that to me is still the missing piece. But like, I don't want to take anything away, because so much of what we look at in, well, can this guy be the guy on a title winner, is when things slow down and you need buckets late in games, like that's a signature skill. And if you're going to account for 99 points in a game with your 71 points and your 11 assists, like, feel like that question's kind of answered. If you need a bucket, Mitchell, I think is as good an option, short of the absolute Kevin Durant's, Steph Curry's, Luka's, as about as good as you're going to get in that regard. So yeah, I think do we need to recalibrate is a fair question, but it all sort of to me hinges on the Cavs being still just like one guy away.
This next question on the Cavs came from Luke J. 37. I saw Zach Lowe say the Cavs are looking for a short-term wing option via trade. Who is most gettable and who would be the best fit for them? Most gettable is like Furkan Korkmaz. So like someone like, but so I said I'm going to do this later on with the Pacers, but will you play Who Says No with me? I came up with a few Cavs trades.
Okay.
Karis LeVert for Marcus Morris.
That's just a good trade. I don't think anybody says no to that, because that gives the Clippers another creator. I think that's valuable.
I don't know. Does it get weird with Reggie Jackson, John Wall, LeVert on the same team? Like you could
maybe a little bit, but that's a weak area of weakness. I do think that Morris might be a little big and slow to guard the threes that he would theoretically have to guard, but maybe Mobley makes that fine and Allen makes that fine. I like that trade.
Karis LeVert and Isaac Okoro and 2 seconds for Gary Trent Jr. and a contract that Toronto's looking to dump, whether it's Chris Boucher or more likely Kem Birch.
I think that if anybody says no, Toronto, well,
I
that's
think it's
another good
Toronto
one. You're
too.
2 for 2. I don't hate either of those because I think Trent gives you some of the shooting and is at least disruptive defensively when he's at his best. A little smaller than I want for that 3 for the Cavs, but like from Toronto's perspective, you don't know if you're going to have any control over Trent because of that player option. So I think you take back a flyer on a Coro and whatever else you can. I think that makes total sense for them too.
This one is Cody Martin has not come back from his knee injury yet. He's appeared in one game this season, but he did just sign a contract basically at the well, it was less, not basically at the mid level, it was less than the mid level exception. So he's under team control for the next 4 years, essentially, if you want him at no more than $8.7 million. But again, he's played in one game this season. So Cody Martin for Dylan Windler and Lamar Stevens. And if there's a second round pick that needs to go in there, my gut instinct was Cleveland might say no because they seem to really like Lamar Stevens, but you can sprinkle in other money. It's not going to be Dean Wade, but like you could get, would you do even, Isaac Okoro for Cody Martin straight up? You could do. Who says no
I
to
mean,
that?
I'd rather have Caleb. Can we just make can we pull some shenanigans and have it be
I
Caleb
think
Martin?
he's their only option at the 4 aside from Jimmy Butler now that Jovic is injured. And I guess they have Haywood Highsmith too, but still.
Yeah, no, I Martin's not playing is a factor. And for do they like Lamar Stevens, the Cavs, or is it just like he's the only guy that we can throw out there that's just going to guard really hard?
I think I would prefer if I were them to just get off Isaac Okoro for Cody Martin. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think we know all we need to know about Okoro at this point.
I think I have a couple more here. Okay, so would you do Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and 2 seconds for Levert and Dylan Windler?
I don't think so. I think the Cavs say no there. Fournier feels like dead money, and like, is it a flyer on Reddish if this is now, let's take a shot on him? Is he a third draft guy now? I don't know how much stock I could put in Reddish anymore.
Would you do Dylan Windler and Isaac Okoro for Gary Harris?
Hmm. I think I probably would. I still feel like I think maybe I'm just a little too rosy about Gary Harris. I still think he's Denver Gary Harris that just back cuts really well off Jokic. But
I think Orlando says no. I would trade if Orlando would do it. I would do Karis LeVert for Gary Harris, and if they want to include another money in there to match it up, but it works financially.
yeah, I think that does give because again we've talked about it a lot. Levert's just kind of superfluous with Mitchell and Garland, and you don't really need that much more
Kind of
shot creation.
superfluous with Markel Fultz and Cole Anthony and Paolo Banchero a little bit too, though.
A little bit, but I think Levert's probably a better offensive player than Fultz. But I mean, not that that's like
Maybe not this season. I think Fultz is definitely the better game manager.
oh for sure, yeah. I guess Levert's just a six man to me that I wish could shoot a little better.
And here is one that I came up with in light of the Devin Booker injury: Landry Shamet and Jay Crowder for Karis LeVert.
I'm definitely doing that if I'm the Cavs. So I guess it's the Suns saying no if I have to pick one. Although, how much better your offer is going to get for Crowder at this point? Like, are there any offers at all?
And I don't know, Landry Shamet's had some higher moments, but I don't know if people want the longer term money that's left on his deal. And like the shooting that Landry Shamet provides would probably actually help Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. It's certainly more than I mean, Levert has shot it okay, but nobody's afraid of him, catch and shoot. I don't see that.